guys, welcome back to the channel. We are in Milton, Florida today at the Cape Horn factory here. I've got my friend Tyler.
Thanks for coming by.
Yes, sir. Pleasure to be here. Can't wait to do the tour. What are we going to see today?
Well, we're going to kind of go through the whole factory, do a quick walkthrough, get to see how the boats are made, how they start, where it comes from. Everything you're going to see belongs to somebody somewhere that's at home waiting to get it.
Awesome.
It's kind of cool. We'll end up in the rigging shop at the very end where the engines are installed, all the components, and get to see a finished boat.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it. Well, without further ado, let's take a walk.
All right.
I'll follow you.
Let's go.
All right, so tell us a little bit about where we're headed first.
This is lamination. This is where all the magic starts, where the molds are, where the boats begin. And
Thank you.
yeah, your best vantage point is right there. If you can look down the production line.
Oh yeah, they're hard at it this morning.
Yeah, you can get a good view of all the different models and how everything works.
All right, so I see the 36 here. Tell us what we got.
So the 36 is a 3-component boat, like a lot of the boats are now. So we've got the hull. This is the inner liner, the inside of the boat, and it's on the mold upside down. And then next to it is the top cap, the third part that's going to sit. Again, it's on the mold. So all 3 of these components will go together. This one's just about ready for assembly.
So this is the, what did you say this was?
It's called an inner liner, and it's upside down, that big
the
part.
coffin box I see
yeah,
on the
that's
floor
the
there.
fish box. Yep.
Sweet. The cameraman actually has a gimp knee, so I might end up taking over the camera later, and he might have to ride around on. Is this how you guys get around on the shop?
Yeah.
You mind?
No, go ahead.
Oh, this is my speed right here. All right, I'm gonna check in on the guys down there that are working on the 27. Just make sure everything's going
Go ahead.
good.
If you can make it.
Oh gosh.
That literally is how we get around here.
I haven't ridden a bike in a long time.
Uh-huh.
All right, sweet. We're gonna leave this here and keep on with the tour.
So you're looking at the mold.
Okay, this is the mold.
The mold, and it has a boat inside of it. So everything's built from the outside in, which will be clearer as we come down here and we get to see some of the other ones. So we've got a 31 right here.
The 31, yeah.
Might be a little easier to understand.
So this is what I've got is the Cape Horn 31T. I absolutely love it. I was telling him the other day that we actually went with Cape Horn because, I mean, it's like a bulletproof tank. Yeah. This boat is so overbuilt. It's overbuilt, it is. It's got a soft landing. We can run in 2 to 3s, 40 knots, no problem.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting to the fishing grounds, even if it's a little rough out.
Yeah,
so.
it's purpose-built. All of these boats are purpose-built. Very simple. We call it functional simplicity.
Right.
So our whole mentality is it's a lot cheaper in the long run to build a boat that'll never break than to fix a broken boat. Exactly. So they're 10 times the laminate of anything you're gonna find in the market right now.
Yeah, when we did the through-hull transducer, we went with a B175 from Airmar, and we had to cut out the core. I mean, it was probably 3 or 4 inches. It seemed like, I mean, it was thick.
Yeah, I would, anybody that goes boat shopping, that would be the person to go find. Don't listen to anybody else. Find the people that install transducers in boats. They know everything. I'm telling you. They drill every single boat and they can tell you what that boat
how
is
cheap
made
they
of.
are. How
yeah, it's crazy.
So what kind of we've got like a little bit of a resin smell in here. Is that fine to breathe in?
That's normal. It's a vinyl ester and polyester resins. It's not epoxy resins. Those are the ones that can be dangerous.
Gotcha.
So what you're smelling is called styrene.
Styrene.
Yeah, it's normal. It just gases out. It's not going to hurt anybody.
All right, so we got the 31 here.
Yep.
It's in the mold.
Correct.
Give us a quick breakdown of what's actually going on.
So we've got the mold. It's on its side. We tip all our molds on the side. They have a rotisserie on a lot of them. And we do one side at a time. This allows us to get in, do everything correctly, but we're also doing one layer at a time. A lot of manufacturers will put multiple layers in and build in bulk. We don't do that. So we're gonna do one layer at a time. Once this is completely cured and fully ready to go to the next layer, we'll rotate this 180 degrees and then we'll do the other side. And it's a process of back and forth, back and forth. It's a lot of labor involved, but it gives us the finest product you could have at the end by slowing this whole thing down.
Gotcha.
There's no reason to speed it up.
Now, is this hand laid or is this shot?
Everything is going to be hand laid.
Nice.
And between each layer, we're gonna go ahead and sand between each layer once it's fully cured. So you'll see a lot of sanding going on in here, which
you want to make sure it adheres to the next
yeah,
layer, so you don't have any kind of delam.
We
or
want to
anything
get
like
a
that.
really good mechanical bond, and it's a process that's really, I think, a necessary step.
Yeah.
That we've always done since the beginning because we didn't know any better.
Right.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
But I really don't see it happening in a lot of places, but it is a great step to take care of.
So after here, where is this boat going? I see it looks like they're, I don't know what model is this, maybe a 24 or 27?
No, that's going to be the inner liner.
Okay,
And
they're actually rolling on.
Yeah, let's
the
go
inner
check that
liner
out.
now.
Yeah, they're putting a whole layer on it.
And this is the 32.
Yep.
Sweet.
That's the inner liner for the 32. All the different nooks and crannies and details, so every square inch of that laminate is going to have to be rolled out.
Right. Making sure there's no air pockets and it's just a perfect.
Correct.
Yeah, this is a lot of like meticulous, like fine detail that goes into this. I mean, when you see a big boat, you know, out on the water,
you don't realize.
You don't think of none of that. But
there's thousands and thousands of hours that go into crafting it. Wow. You're on the Big Dan show. Now you're on it.
Now you're gonna embarrass me.
Do you know about the Big Dan show?
I've heard of it.
You heard of it?
I'm gonna go watch it now.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
I'll be watching it.
That's
Well,
really
go take
not
a
resting Grinch face, by the way.
Yeah.
No.
Go take a look and let me know.
Okay.
We'll follow back up with you on that.
So that's the resin, the fiberglass resin, and they're getting ready to put on some structural material. So he's going to spray resin, then he's going to come back and he can hit a switch, and we're going to spray pieces of fiberglass on top of that. And that acts as a binder or a glue for the heavy structural cloth
Right.
that she's getting ready to put on.
Oh, so he's actually spraying that fiberglass on there, and then she'll roll it on top
So
of
that fiberglass that he's spraying, you have to think of that like a glue. That's what's going to adhere the structural material to the hull. There's really
keep going.
Not any structure involved in that. Yeah, and you can see it's all hand done. There's really no way to automate this. There's really not a structural advantage with this. It's a glue, it's a binder to hold this heavy material on. That's what we're putting on right now. Those get a lot of bad, people know the word chopper gun, and it gets a bad rap.
Yeah, I've heard the name.
But it's very useful tool, and that's really the best way to adhere this heavy structural woven material.
Gotcha. So I see this big crane right here, just flew over our head.
Yeah.
What's fixing to happen here?
So we've got a top cap right here that's totally complete now, and it's getting ready to come off the mold.
Nice.
You can tell it wants to come off the mold. We've got vice grips keeping it on the mold.
So what holds that on the mold? Because I understand that like it starts to let go of the mold over time.
Yeah, the molds are polished, and we keep our molds perfect. So the fiberglass shrinks just a little tiny bit, maybe 1% shrinkage, and that will adhere it to the mold. So we have to help get it off, but we really don't have any issues with ours. They come off pretty easy.
Yeah, because you got to keep them so clean and waxed and.
Yeah, it's a release agent. Wax is a good analogy, but it's actually a chemical. But you can see everything's been already painted, and if we check this out, so you can see the area that hasn't been painted right here, but it has been sanded. So the gel-coated area, you're really never gonna see unless you look upside down or look in the bottom of a hatch. But all these areas that aren't gel-coated, this is where we're gonna actually adhere the top of this to the hull. This is gonna be a giant contact patch all the way around. It's completely different than a lot of boats that are made today. Most boats use a shoebox design. And this is a completely different approach, but it really gives us a superior strength all the way around the top edge of the boat, which you can attest to with your boat.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So what we're gonna do with this is gonna be picked up, and to get this off the mold, we have to rotate it. And once it's rotated, we can break it free from the mold and set it on the on the racks.
Typically, the hull will sit in the mold for 2 weeks.
Yeah, 10 working days.
10 working days.
Yep.
Is that the same with each component?
Every
so
component.
That way you can keep the cycle going.
Yes. We want everything to be fully
Look at this jig's up in the
100%
air.
cured.
They got me worried that when they flip it, it's gonna fall out, but they know exactly, what, look at that. Now I've got to ask, have you ever had one fall out?
No. No, this has all been engineered.
To somebody like me or our viewers here on the channel, I was just like, oh my gosh.
We're releasing the clamps that are holding it. It's all part of the
just gonna
demolding
kinda peel
process.
that
Yep.
shell off of there.
Yep. Get it to the initial edge to break free. And the part that they're pushing on is all sacrificial. It's going to be trimmed off. None of that's used.
Right.
And once you start to hear the whole thing start to slowly moan and creak, you know it's letting go, and then boop, it
I'm
pops.
gonna see if I can get close so we can get a good audio
Pretty cool.
of it.
It's really neat when it comes off the mold, if you lick your finger and you're the first person to touch it.
Don't do that.
Then your hair will look like that.
Don't do that.
So it builds up a static charge while it's being cured.
Really?
Yeah. So on the bigger parts like the hulls, we have a ground wire. We have to come and touch the hull when it comes out, because if you walked up to it, a bolt of lightning is going to come out and hit you.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
So this could be dangerous.
It's not. Anything's going to hurt you. We had a girl that started here one day and didn't know, and she walked underneath one and all her hair went straight up. It was crazy.
There it goes. There it goes. Did y'all see it release? And they're gonna, I guess, crane the jig off of it, and they're gonna be left with a perfect top cap here in just a second. I got a little hanging up in the back, but she's almost there, boys. She is almost there. I feel like I want to help them. Man, that is. So that's got the electricity in it?
Uh-huh.
So how do you got to ground it to get it off?
He already did. But you can see the part right out of the mold.
Look at this. This is almost as beautiful
Uh-huh.
as a baby being born.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But you'll notice it's perfect. We don't have to come back
Yeah,
and wet sand and paint and buff and all
The
these.
non-skid's already in there.
Yeah, everything's there. Yeah, it's really neat.
That's incredible.
So this one's in the final stage. The 27 is a two-piece boat. It's not three-piece. So the whole boat was sculpted from the outside in. The floor, everything's built by hand. And you can see it's like a primer that we spray on the inside,
Right.
and then every detail is hand sanded.
I know how much work goes into sanding a little piece.
Yeah.
Because I ran my keel up on the trailer.
Yep.
I just went a little bit outside.
Everybody does.
It's just cosmetic part of owning a boat.
Sure.
And man, that hand sanding on there, like, I couldn't imagine doing 27 or 36 or 47.
Well, it really helps because everybody's pretty much cross-trained. Everybody's done every job in this part of the shop. So if you're the person that's actually putting the laminate on and rolling it out, you want to make sure it's perfect because you've been the person that has to sand it.
Yeah, exactly.
And vice versa. So
He's cussing at him if it ain't perfect.
everybody works together.
That's awesome.
And we tell everybody, if you're in doubt, close your eyes and rub your hand across it. If you can feel that, then
Yeah.
it's not right.
That's right.
And it's always been right.
That's awesome. So how many employees are actually working in here? I don't know if I asked you or not.
Yeah, we have 50 people total.
Wow.
Yeah, that's That's
So
what
how
we
many
keep it
how many
up.
boats are you guys putting out a year?
Well, we're always controlled by how much resin we're going to use annually, so our resin amount never changes, but the boat volumes will change. When we were really going to town years ago with smaller boats, we would build close to 800 boats in a year.
Wow.
Now it's all larger boats, so that number is going to drop to about 120.
Yeah.
But it's
sweet.
all big boats.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, with 50 people. So
That's incredible.
everybody here has multiple different
Yeah,
jobs.
you look at everybody in here, everybody's doing every little job that matters.
And you notice there's not people back and forth, and everybody knows what has to be done.
Exactly.
It's really a neat atmosphere.
And I've seen that watching videos online at other factory tours. People
Yeah.
are just kind of like hanging out or smoking and joking. Like literally everybody in here has a job.
Yeah.
They're doing it.
Yep.
I don't know if it's because we're in here,
No.
but they look like they know what they're doing and they're doing it efficiently. And
None of
being
these
effective.
people even knew you were coming in here.
Nice.
Scarlett just attested to that. What's happening? Am I going to be on TV?
Are you the Big Dan show?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Sweet. All right, so this is the 27.
Yep.
Let's move along. What
Yeah.
else do we got up
We'll
here?
head on down here. So this is the 32. It's very popular
Oh yeah.
in the mold, and they just set the stringers. So these giant logs, for lack of a better term, beams, are all composite. They're made out of a foam board, and we've got these jigs that put them exactly where they need to be in the boat. They just put another layer on the transom, and now the next step, they'll come in and start to adhere these stringers. So in a lot of boats, the stringer system or grid system is a molded system, which is a great production way to make something, but then it's adhered with an adhesive to the hull.
Yeah.
So you get that chemical bond, which is great too, but it does have a service life. So we're gonna get a chemical bond with an adhesive, but then we're gonna put multiple layers of laminate. So this will be one piece when it's all done. This will be integrated into the hull. It can't fail.
Nice.
Ever.
So are they all just a dual stringer, or some of them have?
We have different sets depending on the loads that the boat's going to see. You know, it all has to do with what size the boat is, the speeds, the weights, the mass. You know, there's a lot that goes into the engineering of it. But yeah, this is a neat system because you can see how wide that area is for those stringers, and that's to accept the liner that's going to go in.
Gotcha.
So it's all about transferring all the stress loads through the boat and out of the boat, so you don't feel it and the hull doesn't absorb it.
Right. So on I got a 31. This is a 32,
Uh-huh.
but my boat is actually 3111.
Yeah.
So it's basically a 32. What is
Yes.
the difference in the 31T or the 32T or XS, whatever the model is?
So the 31 and 32 are completely different boats. A lot of people, because that's how we think, it's the same. Totally different boat. There's so many things on the bottom that if you start to analyze the hull design, you'll start to see the differences come out of it.
Gotcha.
The 32 is, the 31 is what we wanted for tournament fishing years ago. We would fish the SKA tournaments, and it's great. It's a proven hull design. It's gone through a couple of different changes in its lifespan. Then we came out with the 32. It's got a few more standard creature comforts, options, and it has some new things in the hull. The 32 has really become the new go-to boat.
I guess there's so many 31s that are actually on the market.
Yes.
You hear 31, 31,
It's
31.
been out for so many years.
Like just like the 24 or the
Yeah.
21 or the
Yep.
27 or whatever
Great
it is.
following.
Yeah, that's within my,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
circle, so
Sure.
that's what I see a lot of.
Yeah.
Do you know how many 31s are in service right now?
Not off the top of my head, a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah, and it's one of the most sought after used boats in the world.
People don't want to sell them.
Well, if they do, if you see one, I get the phone call once a week. Hey, I just found this 31 and I'm thinking about, and I said,
You
it's
thought
already,
too long.
It's already
It's
been
gone.
sold.
That's
Sorry.
exactly right. You thought a little too long.
Yep.
If you see it, you better buy it because.
If you're thinking long, you're thinking wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yes.
This is what it looks like before they actually put the stringers in it.
Yep.
So you saw a 32 there with the stringers in it, sitting inside the jig.
One step
or in
earlier.
the mold.
So you can look how I was talking about sanding between all the layers.
Oh,
so
yeah,
this has
see
all
every-
been hand sanded. And you'll notice that one we were just looking at, it's all wet in the back. They had just put a layer of
Yeah, yeah.
laminate on. So they're gonna come in here, put some more laminate on this. Then it's gonna be ready for the stringers to be set. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand the whole process of the mold, but the mold is it's the reverse image of the boat. And that's what the boat is made in. It's a jig. Think of it like a mold, but it's all polished. Whatever imperfection is in the mold is going to be transferred to the boat. So we design our own boats in-house. Chris Fabro designs everything. And then
I was going to ask you, who does all the design work?
It's all done here.
Okay, that's awesome.
And then we make our molds.
So a mold, how long will a mold actually last you guys? How many holes can you?
We've never had one fail. When we discontinue a model because we come out with a different model, we always destroy the molds.
Gotcha.
A lot of people get upset at that. We cut them in a million pieces.
They
and
want somebody to be like, hey, will you sell us a mold? We'll have
Yes.
a knockoff Cape Horn.
Yes, but
And then you're like,
for us,
Yeah.
it's the end of a chapter in our careers. We would never want to put it out in the market because we would have to compete against it.
yeah.
You would never want to
And
compete
then you got
against
some
yourself.
jackknob laying something in there. It looks like a Cape Horn, but it's not your product.
We've been copied 5 times.
Really?
That's the ultimate compliment, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
When you
absolutely.
think about it. So what we have here is a giant mold. This is our 47.
Can we get in there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Check
man.
it out.
This is the 47.
Yeah, don't
All right,
touch
so
anything.
There's not a lot of talk. Wow, this is beautiful. This is beautiful in here.
Yeah, that's the
Can I touch it?
no touching.
Okay.
If you touch it, there will be a fingerprint on it for the rest of its life.
Really?
Yeah, it's that sensitive.
Wow.
Watch your head.
Oh, I've got plenty clearance. This is unreal. Now, I see a hole right here. This is probably to pressurize, to release from the mold later.
No, actually, that's a vacuum hole. So
Really?
our molds are so smooth, which you can see. Look at your reflection.
Oh, it's unreal.
If you look at other boats, it almost looks like a circus mirror. So that hole is going to be for a vacuum generator. We're going to pull a vacuum on the hull to actually keep the boat in the mold
Gotcha.
because it wants to come out because the mold's so perfect. It's crazy.
So it sucks it to the mold,
Uh-huh.
and then whenever it's ready to release, you cut it off, it pops out of the...
You got it.
This is unreal. We just saw the 47 in the mold. No, we didn't see it in the mold.
We saw the mold.
We saw the mold
We just pulled the boat out of the mold.
for the new 47 Cape Horn.
Mm-hmm.
And how long has the 47 been around? This is brand new, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's really been around. We've been working on it for at least 5 or 6 years.
It's been real hush-hush. I heard it 2 years ago, I heard about it.
Yeah, and that's when we built we started on the first hull. It came out, making the second one now. We just pulled it. It's pretty cool. We can come take a look at it.
Yeah, let's go check it out. All right, so I noticed all this right here. This is part of the infusion process, correct?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Where they vacuum all this.
Yep. So
Tell us a quick little
all
bit
of our
about
hard
this.
tops we employ infusion. So all the laminate, everything will be hand placed. It's a really cool process. So everything's put in place, it's sealed up, and then under vacuum we pull all the resin in. It gives us the exact amount of resin. Really what we're doing is reducing weight. And in a hard top, which is way up high above our center of gravity, we want the least amount of weight. It helps make the boat more stable,
Right.
slows things down. In a deep V hull, anything you can do to get an advantage,
Yeah,
you're
for
gonna
sure.
want laterally.
Now, when we're building these, do we want more weight in the bottom to,
Yeah.
to keep the
Yep.
center of gravity?
Yes, correct. We're going to try to, like the old ships would fill it with stones for ballast to keep the boat upright. We're doing that with the fuel tanks. So the fuel tanks are shaped like the bottom of the boat and they're dropped all the way down. And I don't know if we noticed when we were walking down the line, all those tanks up on the wall, but they're not aluminum tanks. And 90% of the boats, if you find a boat of this size, I don't know of any other boat that's using a poly tank in these big boats. Everybody goes to aluminum. It's the most cost effective in manufacturing, but it has a weak point. Aluminum and salt water don't get along,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it does
for
have a
sure.
short lifespan. Everybody's heard the horror stories. Our whole approach is we don't want to build anything that we know could fail. So it's natural to take the aluminum tank away. And in the year 2000, we went to high density poly tanks. They're extremely expensive. 10 times the cost
But
of
like what you
aluminum.
were saying back there, if they ain't got to bring the boat back,
Correct.
it's cheaper in the long run to
Yes.
do it right out
Yes.
the gate.
Yeah, and they're built, each boat has its own tank and they drop down in low. There's only a couple of places in this country that can make poly roto-molded tanks of this size. There's so many, environmental concerns, federal laws involved. It's pretty serious stuff when it's a fuel system.
So while you're on that, and sorry to interrupt, I keep
Yeah,
interrupting.
no
I've
problem.
just got so many questions, and
Yeah.
this is so intriguing to me, and I know a lot of the audience want to hear about it. But there's been questions online, and people have asked,
Sure.
why does the 34 only have a 275 gallon tank? Is that something that you guys are going to change, or was it designed
Sure.
that way because
It was
you guys know what y'all are doing?
Yeah, yeah. So we approach it with the design of the boat. The length to beam ratio of the 34 is so optimum, and I tell everybody it's got a 420 mile range, I believe, with 400 V10 Mercuries.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, it's actually a 35-foot boat. So find a 35-foot boat that has a 420 mile range. Does it exist? I haven't seen it.
Right.
So that's what the existing fuel system, which is the same system that we put into 32. So that 32 system was already mandated. It was legal by the EPA and the Coast Guard to use. So to save some of that expense, we could have engineered anything we wanted in a 34, but are you going to go
You can put a
further
400 gallon tank in there, but the consumer's going to
Somebody's got to pay for that.
Yeah.
So what we ended up doing, a lot of people apparently are going to leave out of Pensacola and they're going to go straight to the Yucatan Peninsula. I haven't met that person yet, but from what everybody online is saying, that's what they want to do. So we do now have a 205 gallon tank to complement a single 144. So we increased the fuel capacity in the 34 by 60 gallons.
Okay, so hold on, back that up. You said a 144 and a 205?
Yes.
From going from here forward, or is that an option?
It's an option moving forward.
Gotcha.
If you don't need to go to the Yucatan Peninsula, you don't need it.
Okay, so we won't get into the price difference and all that, but
Sure.
I know whenever you give one thing, you got to take from
yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
What are you substituting?
So
to
we're
get
taking
more
that away
range?
from a compartment that's down inside the console that right now would house the batteries. So we're going to shrink that up. So I think the maximum batteries we could fit in that compartment would be 4, where before people could put 6. Maybe
Gotcha.
they had a trolling motor. They wanted a big.
Sorry, you're
lithium
going to have
bank.
to go through the lithium. We'll just go 36 volt and be done with it. So that makes 100% sense. And
Yeah,
I figured I'd ask while we
Oh,
got
sure.
on the tank, talk.
Yeah, I think the most valuable real estate in the state of Florida is in the belly of a boat.
Right. Yeah.
There's just no more space. 47.
Inside boxes real quick.
Yeah, fish boxes.
All right. Over here, looks like we got the fish boxes.
Yeah.
Basically, this is a big coffin box
Yep.
that's flipped upside down,
Correct.
put inside of.
Yes. Yeah, and it's a coffin box for a reason, but this would be the final resting place of what we do.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about, and it's got to be large enough.
This has got to go to a 39 or the 47,
That's going to be the 36.
36.
Yeah.
This is in a 36.
Uh-huh.
This is a monster.
Yep.
I mean, you can fit 3 grown men in here. Swordfish, bluefin tuna,
Yeah.
yellowfin.
Yep. Yeah, you figure you're going to go at least 100 miles offshore. That's the way we look at it. And the stuff that you're going to encounter when you can get to those grounds, it's not a boat show out there like,
Yeah, like
how far does the average person go offshore? It's not that far. Our customers tend to go further. The boat allows them to do that. The boat's unsinkable. It's not going to break. So go further. And what you find further offshore, you need that.
You need as much ice as you can. There's no feeling like being in the fish and you got to stop because you don't have enough ice. With my old boat,
Yeah.
I won't go into manufacturers and all that. I could hold ice maybe a day and a half. We fish the oil rigs a lot. Just we run far, 100, 130,
Yeah.
140 miles. So in my Cape Horn 31, I'm not kidding. I've held ice once it's chilled down. And I don't know if this is insulated. I know the boat's like foam infused within it. Like,
yeah, this would be, again, it's upside down and you got to use some thought process. This would be the floor.
Right.
You'd be standing on the other side. The keel of the boat is going to be right here, coming down.
And all this is backfilled with foam.
Solid foam.
So it is insulated
Yep.
to and so there's a reason why I can hold ice once it's chilled down for
Yes.
10 days
Yes.
in my 31.
Yeah, the R value is off the chain.
It's-
a Yeti cooler is 2 inches of urethane foam. So just imagine how much foam is around this
Yeah.
thing.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long time ago, customer was talking on a different brand boat. They were off Louisiana and they caught 160-pound tuna. Everybody high-fived and they went, "We got to go home."
Yeah.
Oh no.
Because they don't have the capacity to
Yeah,
put it.
and he's telling me that story, and you're right. We caught a swordfish and it wouldn't fit. That's where this comes from.
That's right.
You don't want to go home. You hear a lot of people say, "Oh, the Cape Horn doesn't have as much storage." It has more storage. It's just in fewer, bigger compartments. It doesn't have 20 little tiny
Exactly.
hatches full of moldy dock lines and bumpers and
And
old life
that's all it
jackets.
is, a catch for a moldy dock line.
Yes,
And
but you do the actual cubic feet, of storage inside one of our boats. There's been a couple of people online that have shown, and it's unbelievable. But to have this, but then have it completely insulated, it doesn't exist too many places.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, let's keep moving, because I can hardly wait to get over here to the 47.
Yeah.
So I guess this is it.
Yep.
Fresh out of the mold with the
Correct.
top cap put in it.
Yeah, the hull's put together,
Wow.
ready for assembly.
Man, I've been waiting to see this thing for a long time in person, and it is absolutely massive. That sounds like you're knocking on a brick wall.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you got to remember, 50 miles an hour. If you hit 50 miles an hour on water, water becomes basically the density of the concrete you're standing on.
Yeah, it's
So that's the whole premise, that this is designed to drive on concrete. All of our boats are. It's what we believe you're going to do, drive on concrete for 100 miles. That's how it's engineered.
I mean, this is incredible. Right behind me is the new 47 from Cape Horn. There's not been a whole lot of exposure about this boat online. I know one popped up on Boat Trader a week or two ago. I think it was listed for like 1.3. It had the quad 600s. Was that the first one you guys built?
That was the first one.
Quad 600s.
Yep.
So what does that thing run? Top speed, cruise speed?
Officially, I want to say it came in, Mercury tested it, and I want to say they came in at 80 miles an hour.
Quad 600s.
Yeah, we
That
saw a
is
little bit
incredible.
more than that out of it when we were playing with it, but it's a whole new world. I mean, it's unbelievable.
That
When
is
you
a-
get in something this size.
Yeah, it's hard to fathom.
Yeah.
Just standing beside this
Yeah.
versus a 31 or a 32
Yeah.
or even the 36, it's like, this thing is huge.
Yeah. But just for perspective, because you make the boat look small.
Yeah, I'm 6'6", 320. That's the real life size.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Man,
Yeah, it's a big
this
big
thing
machine.
this thing is thick. I'm looking in this right here where you got your, and I know that's a little beefed up right there.
Yeah.
But that's 5-6 inches of fiberglass.
And it's not particularly beefed up. That's
Really?
the normal hull laminate. Yeah, we
Wow.
don't go back and
So like you said, this thing is designed to run at 50, 60 miles an hour on asphalt.
yeah.
Because that's what it feels like.
Yes.
I mean, this thing is, do y'all hear this?
Yeah, it's solid.
This thing is like a rock.
Yeah.
This is unreal. Future-wise, what is the plans with the 47? Because I know it's becoming a sought-after thing in people's mind. I don't know if the,
So all the boats that we come out with, we always design what we're looking for, something that we want personally. That's the beauty of what we do. We can't mass produce stuff. We aren't chasing markets or anything like that. We make what we want, and there's quite a few people that want the same things. That's why we have so many different models and designs. This was the latest of what we're looking for as we're getting older and I still want to go fast.
My lower
Yeah.
back and my knees. I mean,
Unbelievable.
because I'm pushing the limits.
When you start running offshore in nasty conditions and something of this size, it's
Right
like
through
on your
it.
31 when you're going to hit a 3-foot wave and everybody the first time's like, and then that was nothing.
Yeah.
Imagine this with like a 4 to 6 foot sea and you're running 50 miles an hour.
Oh man.
It's unbelievable. It's just a whole different world.
I'm ready to buy one. How soon can you have me one made?
Yeah, you got to kind of take a number. There's so many boats we're prioritizing
Right. And
to
that's
get production rolling. That's why this is not at the top of our list right now, because this
Gotcha.
was really, like I said, for us. There are some other people that want one, and take a ride in one. It's a pretty phenomenal machine.
when can we do that? Do you have one in the yard that is,
No, we'd have to go to Texas and call that gentleman that has the one. So that is a console, the very first layer going on the console. You're going to step in wet stuff if you get any closer. So what she's putting on is called the skin coat, and that's the very foundation. It goes right over the gel coat, and that'll be the tooth that the structural material will start to bite to build the final console. There's a lot of layers go into that. You can tell a lot of the attention to detail, the hours. This is a perfect example. There's going to be about 1,000 woman hours involved in putting this console together.
and that means attention to detail.
Yes, yes.
Because like me, I might look over, the little fine, but she's got a job and she's here for a reason because
Oh,
she's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
How long have you been here?
Going on like 4 years.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is the down and dirty. A lot of details in these small parts. Can't afford to have any mistakes, air bubbles, none of that exists. I mean, I don't even know, couldn't even tell you when we had an air bubble in something. It just doesn't exist.
What is this exactly right here? I mean,
So-
I know this is fiberglass.
Yeah, all the different materials that we use are stored here and then hand cut. Each boat is hand cut like a kit. You saw them putting the glass on. Around the corner, there's kits that everything is pre-made for each boat. And a lot of this is industry standard material. It's nothing new or proprietary, but there are materials that we use that are going to be a little bit different. When we look at, you've got your standard woven rovings that just about every boat company uses, and then we've got materials like this that are stitched together and not just woven. It's a little higher up the food chain. But then when we have a structural intersection, we have all different widths of this material, and this is a stitched material. It's a real tight-knit material, but I don't know if you can see this. The fibers are running at a 45-degree angle. So what that allows us to do when we put it in the boat, when we glass it into the boat, we're telling the stress loads and all the energy where to go. We're directing it throughout the hull. It's a real easy way of designing something. It's expensive to use these 45-degree materials, biaxials, but it really helps ensure that you're not going to have a boat that fails. You're not going to have stress cracks. When you look at some of these new modern boats, a lot of them just picking the boat up, lifting it to put it on a trailer, it cracks. A product like that could help alleviate any of those issues.
All right, so we are in the
Rigging shop, rigging
shop.
department.
Tell us what we got going on here.
So the boats come out of the mold, everything's assembled, rolls into rigging where we put all the different systems in. Right now we've got the pipe work going on. That's a hardtop frame, gonna go on a 28.
Nice.
So everything is built just to this model. It'll only fit on here.
Right.
And we do all this too. We've got another shop down in Gulf Breeze where we build all the pipe work.
Gotcha.
It just helps us control all the elements of everything.
When you can keep your hand on the product,
Yes.
and really
The quality
Exactly.
is going to be to our standards. But again, it's overbuilt. The size pipe work that we use, all the reinforcements. It's designed for all the loads that it's going to encounter.
yeah, that thing's beefed up. You can put a second station on that
Yeah.
boat if you
Oh
want.
yeah, no problem.
And it just fit right in there perfectly.
Yep.
I mean, it's already lined up to bolt in and everything.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
that'll through bolt
seamless.
all the way through. And if you'll notice, wherever a fastener goes, we've got a nylon insulator
Yeah, I see that.
that'll help give it a little better life.
Now, what is it that makes the Cape Horn so solid to where you're not walking around and you're hearing creaking and, you know, there's other...
So many different things. All the laminate I talked about. The sides have a 1/2-inch Divinycell core. Oop, watch out.
Ooh.
Makes it all solid. Then the whole inner bottom is solid foam. But the console itself and the leaning post are built to the industry standards for a hull laminate. So the average boat is going to be the thickness
of the
console.
Yeah, wow.
And once this is all bolted on, we could literally, with this pipe work, bring that crane back. We could lift the whole boat up just by the pipe work. It'll
Wow.
pick the boat up.
I believe it. That's
Crazy.
that is insane.
But again, if it's overbuilt, we should
don't
never
have any
have any
issues
problems.
down the road.
No.
All right, so while they're finishing up with the pipe work on that boat, this looks like this is the 39.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah, this is the 39. This is the newest version. It's the 39 XS. So the 39T's been out there for a little while and proven itself.
Oh yeah.
We always wanted to make an XS version with the extra seating and extra storage
yeah.
in the front. But we knew to stay true to our fishing heritage, the T would have to be the first one out. The
Solid.
XS comes out, has all the features of the T, designed to do the same thing, just gives you the ability to carry a little bit more gear and little creature comforts in the process.
Yeah. I'm a T guy.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna speak into fruition. This is gonna be my next boat. It was either the 34 or the 39, but man.
Yeah, you always want to buy as far forward as you can.
Yeah.
Every couple of years you get 2-foot itis.
Yeah, I got that
So
right
if you
now.
can skip right to
I went 4 foot.
skip
And-
right to where you want to be.
Yeah. Now, can we walk in
Yeah,
here,
go
take our
ahead.
shoes off,
Check it
and
out.
walk on in here?
Yeah, go. You don't have to take shoes off. Go on in.
So this is the XS. Are all the hatches and compartments, other than the forward seating, is it going to be the same in the T?
Yeah, everything's the same. The only difference is going to be up in the front of the boat with that arrangement. Everything else is going to be the same.
Man, this thing is a monster.
Yeah.
This is it right here. You got a lot of extra storage up here with the XS, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's really kind of neat too. If we were fishing, and it's got different rolls. If we were actually going to work a fish around, though, everybody's had that happen where you got to do the swing around the front. The ability to jump up here. I mean, just get up here and look at.
Oh, I mean, this is a monster
This
platform.
is a stage.
I'm not going to mess this up. I mean,
No, it's designed to do anything you want. But now imagine the ability to work all the way around. You can run down the gunnels, whatever you want to do.
absolutely, absolutely.
But at the same time, this is all going to be.
You get your old lady up here one night. Hey, baby. I mean, you got
We're
your
dancing.
You got your whole dance floor up here.
Once all that upholstery gets installed, it's two, it has two different rolls.
Snap in and out, and
Yeah, you can get comfortable. You can take a break if you do an overnighter. But then that storage.
yeah.
You look at all the storage that we've got, the compartments. Check this one out. There we go. I mean, it's huge.
Now these aren't insulated. You could
No.
probably, I mean, it's primarily for storing,
Yes.
life jackets and
Yep.
food.
All your
and-
gear.
yeah.
All your stuff. This is the fish box, and obviously.
Now, will you guys put a windlass on here, or is
Yeah.
it optional?
Yeah,
Whatever
it's
you.
an option.
Now, my next question. Golly, that's big.
Yep.
I could crawl in there.
Sure.
And like I said, I'm 6'6". Now, we see a lot of guys in this day and age, they're moving along with the iPilot.
Yeah.
Whether it's a Garmin or a Minn Kota or whatever it is. A lot of guys are putting a spot lock system on their boat. We
Yep.
got one on the 31.
Yeah.
It's great. It's almost like you can't fish without it.
Sure.
Once you've been spoiled, and I got kids and stuff, so I'm running back and forth. Have you had anybody put a spot lock on one of these, or would it take
Not on
two
the
systems?
39. So on the 39, just about everybody goes with the joystick option.
Gotcha.
So Mercury's been super popular. A lot of these, they're extremely popular with the twin 600s.
Right.
A lot of people are wanting to have the extra engine. It's going to be the same amount of horsepower with triple 400s. But either way, you have the ability to have the joystick, stay on the spot, hit the button.
All from the motors.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, this is the 39. If you look around, we've got the 32, the 34, 27s, 28s, but we got a little bit of everything here in the rigging shop. All right, so what do we got here? Looks like he's installing a rub rail.
Yeah, the rub rail that goes around the boats. So if you look at we'll come around on this side, you can get a better look of what we start with. So where the side of the hull comes up and it meets, we have this lip that turns out. And that's what I was talking about, how the boats go
Gotcha.
together.
Yeah.
This is very unique. You don't see a lot of boats built this way. A lot of boats go together with a shoebox design.
Right.
Which is a real pretty way to do it, but structurally, to have this beam that goes all the way across perpendicular to the hull, it's rock solid. So we've got this laminate, which by itself is structurally sound, but then we're gonna cover it with a huge extrusion of PVC. We glue it with 5200, but then every 8 inches, is what he's doing is we're putting a 1/4 inch fastener down.
Nice.
If you do anything to that rub rail, it's like treat it like a piece of wood. You can sand it down, polish it,
Yeah.
repair it. But when you look at how we've fastened the two pieces together, we've got this adhesive, but then you'll notice right here we transition into a different adhesive, so that helps change the loads and the stresses throughout the hull. Everything starts on the back where the engines are pushing through.
That's awesome.
So that gives us our chemical bond. And then when we come around here with the fasteners, we're getting the mechanical bond. So everything we put together, we want chemical and mechanical, not just one.
Awesome.
We're not going to cut a corner.
So the tanks, the tanks go in
Back there.
in
Yep.
the other stage.
Yeah.
And then it's all foam infused.
Yep.
And then it comes over here.
Correct. So when the boat rolls in there, all those components are put together. It's a final shell that comes out here, and that's when we're going to install all of the parts,
There you go.
starting with the leaning post.
All right, guys, as you can see, this 32 XS is getting a pair of Mercury 400s. He's fixing to do the install, hooking everything up right now.
So here's where the engines actually get installed. It's kind of cool. We have templates for everything, and the engines have already been tested at all the different angles, the heights, the spread. So it's the optimum placement for the engine for this boat. And that was all determined, multiple different tests. Mercury engineers and their application engineers come in and set all that stuff.
When people, and you see this a lot online, you may not even get into it because you ain't got the time for it. You're trying to design a perfect product and produce one, and you have, and you guys have mastered that. But everybody online thinks that they're, you know, an engineer. They're aerodynamics engineer or whatever, and they're talking about different prop pitches and, you know, the whole placement. You know, I should put it on a jack plate or you know, all kinds of crazy stuff. And with that, of course, you substitute one thing for another, but kind of go into that, like the speed and the fuel economy and the
Yeah, it's a give and take, and all those people online, they are correct. Raising the engine will make the boat go faster. There's all these things that you can do by changing the placement of the engine and by changing the propeller. So it doesn't matter what you have for an engine, it all comes down and goes through that propeller. That's actually what is producing the thrust.
Right.
So you've got to have the right propeller. We highly recommend you stay with brand name propellers. There's so many aftermarket ones, but the quality is really, Mercury's a perfect example. They make the best propellers in the world, hands down. Nobody has a better propeller than a Mercury propeller. Where this engine is placed is going to be the optimum place for rough water conditions. If we're offshore fishing, you know, it's usually going to be rougher than it's going to be smooth. And the boat's going to spend a lot of time, you're probably going to spend more time out of the water than in the water. So you want the engine placed exactly where we have it to give the most contact with the propeller and the water. Can we make it go faster and raise the engine?
Absolutely.
Sure. But you're going to lose, you're going to start to get some ventilation, prop
losing
cavitation.
control. And
Yeah, you're not going to be happy offshore.
it's cool if you're on the river and it's slick and, and you want to look cool when you're racing and all that.
And there's people that are buying the boats for that purpose.
Right.
You know, they just want to hop from sandbar to sandbar, and 40 speakers and 6 amps, and that's, you know,
And
that's
10
a whole,
girls.
Yeah, that's a whole, well,
You can do
usually
it.
it's 12. It's a whole nother experience, you know, boating experience, and these are used for everything. But for all around general use, where these engines are going to be placed, that's really where it wants to be.
Right.
We've got one up here that's complete 34.
Yeah, there it is with the.
Yeah, it
It's
already
already
has,
got the Mercury 400s on
already
it.
on it, all rigged
These
out.
V10s, I'm telling you, they've got unbelievable amount of torque, and I know you know this. These things, we were running in 4 to 6s. I got a video on my phone, I'll have to pull it back up. We were running 45 knots, or 43, 44, somewhere in there, and we were getting 1.4, 1.5.
Yeah.
And that is moving in
Well,
4 to 6s.
This
now
thing's
it's
a
rollers.
missile. This thing's a missile in the rough stuff. Did you
Right.
get in any rough stuff with this?
So I don't know if you saw the sea trial
No, I
video.
didn't.
Okay, we did a sea trial on the 34 XS last February. It was blowing 30 knots. The wind had just subsided. It was probably 4 to 6s.
Good.
And I mean, it was super rough.
That's good.
We had the twin Suzuki 350s on there.
Yep, that's what we have on ours.
Gotcha. So great motors, totally capable, but I mean, this boat, like you said, it's a missile. Cuts right through that stuff.
Yeah.
Very soft landing on re-entry.
And the increased displacement, that thing is...
Let's hop on here and take a look. Can we get on here and
Yeah,
take a
go
look?
ahead.
So one thing that I did love about this is the re-entry. Like, I'm fishing with kids and like sometimes older people. We're doing a lot of fun fishing.
Yeah.
I don't have a charter business or anything like that, but we fish 2-3 days a week. And I've got kids on the boat, stuff like that. The thing was so smooth, I couldn't believe it. Stable, smooth, safe. So, I mean, when you're going for a Cape Horn, that's what you're going after. So I'll let you talk a little bit about the 34.
Yeah, everything that you just mentioned is really what Cape Horn's all about.
Right.
We're boaters, and this entire company was formed on we're boaters and fishermen, and we wanted a product.
You
that-
got this beautiful chair. I'm just gonna sit back and relax.
We wanted
while
a
you-
product that really didn't exist when, you know, we went shopping. First of all, we couldn't afford it, and Chris came up with some great ideas to make a functional. It's all about fishing and less work.
Right.
This boat is half the work of maintenance and taking care of it. And I mean, don't believe me, just ask around. Look
yeah.
at your boat.
I mean, I know personally from the video that we produced, 2 people that bought the 34XS sight unseen.
Yeah.
They called me up, they said, I seen the video. One guy called me, he was in the Coast Guard with me. And then another guy, he messaged me on Facebook. He goes, hey man, you got a minute, can we talk, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Hey, was it really like what you said? It was really like that. This thing is a rocket in the water.
Yeah, there's so many different boats there's a boat for everybody and what you use a boat for, but if you're committed to offshore tournament fishing, hardcore fishing, you want to get into fishing, this is the platform, whether you're a professional, commercial, the 36, I think I was telling you on the phone, how many of those are used up on the East Coast to chase bluefin tuna commercially. So these boats are used in all different aspects, military roles, etc. Overall, with the company, moving forward, the trend with the consumer is to get bigger, but that's also our trend to get bigger. We want to continue what our heritage is, and that is to make a boat that's bigger than what we say it is for a better value. We just want to continue everything that we've built the foundation on for this company.
I mean, you've certainly made a good name for yourselves up to this point.
Yeah, if you do everything right, it works out great.
And I really appreciate your time, Tyler.
I
thank you so much
thanks for coming
taking us on a walk around. I know
Yeah,
my viewers are definitely going to enjoy this. I have, and I can't wait to get some of these boats out on the water here soon. So.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to see it all in person, come by. We get factory tours all the time. It's pretty neat. See it firsthand.
They're right here in Milton, Florida, so it doesn't matter where you're coming from.
Right off the interstate.
Call Tyler, send him an email. He'll get you booked up, and you can take a look, and you can be in the boat of your dreams in no time.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.